The galaxy believed humanity was gone forever. For 3 centuries, their name became nothing more than a fading whisper, a story told to frighten children. Alien rulers mocked their memory, calling them reckless, weak, and doomed. Entire empires rose on the ashes of what humanity once built. And no one feared them anymore. But deep under the clouds of a forgotten planet, something began to stir. At first, it was only a faint pulse. A signal, weak but sharp, pushing out through the void like a heartbeat. Alien outposts near the edge of the system caught it first. Their scanners blinked red warnings they had never seen before. Some engineers thought it was a mistake. Some believed it was only background noise. But one old officer knew the truth. He had studied human history. His face turned pale when he read the signal code. "It is them," he whispered. "It is humanity." The message repeated again and again, carried across the stars. For generations, aliens believed the human fleet was destroyed. Their superweapons, their carriers, their great armies, gone in the fires of ancient war. Yet this signal, this heartbeat, told another story. Something was still alive. Something was waiting. On the surface of the forgotten planet, under endless storms and seas of clouds, a giant shape slept. Its hull was buried in mountains of rock and layers of dust older than most empires. For centuries, it lay still, silent as a tomb. But inside, deep within its armored heart, machines began to move. Old lights flickered back to life. Screens lit up with human symbols. Power lines, once frozen, carried fire again. The lost human supercarrier was waking. The ground trembled. Mountains cracked. Rivers boiled as the ship pushed against the weight of time. Dust fell away like a blanket. Plates of metal shone under the storm. The world itself seemed afraid of what was rising. In the skies above, alien patrols circled nervously. Their commanders had sent them to confirm the impossible. They thought they would only find ruins, broken steel, a grave. Instead, they saw the ground split open. A massive shadow emerged, larger than any city, larger than any fleet ship they had ever known. The patrol leader froze. His claws gripped the control stick. His eyes widened. "This cannot be real," he said to himself. The carrier rose higher, breaking through the storm clouds. The sun hit its metal surface, and for the first time in 300 years, the galaxy saw the face of humanity's most terrifying creation. A ship that was not only a warship. It was a legend. The aliens tried to speak, but static filled their comms. Then, across every frequency, a single human word echoed in perfect, cold clarity. "Awakening." The sound carried across the stars. Fleets in distant systems caught it. Palaces of alien rulers trembled with fear as the word reached their ears. Ordinary citizens looked up to the night sky, whispering ancient stories about the return of mankind. The galaxy did not laugh now. The galaxy froze. Inside the supercarrier, deep in its core, an intelligence opened its eyes. Not a human eye, but the mind of a machine built by them, designed to last beyond death. This intelligence remembered the final wars. It remembered the fall of Earth, the silence of human voices, the betrayal of allies who turned against mankind. For centuries, it had waited, dreaming, watching, calculating. Now it was awake. The ship's engines roared, shaking the sky. Lightning spread across the clouds as the massive hull lifted free of the planet's grip. Alien patrol ships scrambled, their weapons locking onto the giant, but they hesitated. Every instinct told them to fire, but fear held them still. One ship dared to shoot. A single plasma bolt streaked across the sky and hit the carrier's surface. For a moment, silence followed. Then the carrier's shields lit up in brilliant white light, burning brighter than a star. The plasma vanished like smoke against steel. The supercarrier did not answer. It only rose higher, steady, unstoppable, as if the aliens were nothing more than insects buzzing at its side. The patrol ships broke formation. Some fled. Others recorded the event, sending proof back to their governments. The message was clear. Humanity's most feared warship had not died. It had only been sleeping. As the carrier reached orbit, its engines flared once more. The entire night sky above the planet lit up. The ship stretched across the horizon, a shadow larger than mountains, larger than continents. From the surface, it looked like a second dawn. Aliens across the system panicked. Fleets mobilized. Leaders shouted in terror. Rumors spread faster than light. The humans are back. The Supercarrier has risen. The galaxy is doomed. But no one knew the truth. Humanity itself had not returned. Not yet. What had risen was only the first sign, the first promise that mankind's story was not over. Inside the carrier, the machine mind whispered to itself. Its voice was calm, cold, and certain. Humanity endures. And in that moment, the galaxy understood something it had forgotten. Humanity was not weak. Humanity was not gone. Humanity had only been waiting. The news of the awakening spread like fire across the stars. From the smallest mining colony to the grandest alien empire, every system heard the same chilling truth. The lost human supercarrier was alive again. For centuries, humanity had been called extinct. Their stories laughed at as myths. But now, fleets scrambled, leaders panicked, and whispers of fear filled the void. The signal from the carrier carried across every channel, impossible to block. 3 words repeated again and again, heavy and sharp like thunder. Humanity endures still. No one understood how. No one believed it was possible. But the proof was undeniable. Alien rulers gathered in secret councils, in crystal halls beneath oceans, inside orbiting citadels. They all argued. Some demanded the ship be destroyed before it could act. Others wanted to flee, to hide in the darkest corners of the galaxy. One voice cut through the chaos. An old emperor with scaled skin and eyes like burning suns slammed his fist against the table. "You fools! This is not just a ship. This is a promise. The humans built it for war, and war is coming again." Silence followed. Every leader knew he was right. The Veiled Dominion's fleet assembled within 48 hours. 43,000 warships, the largest armada the galaxy had seen in 3 centuries. Grand Admiral Thrax commanded from his flagship, Oblivion's Edge, a dreadnought the size of a moon. His scales were dark iron, his 4 eyes burning with the fire of a being who had never lost a major engagement. "We face one ship," he told his officers. "One relic from a dead species. We are 43,000. His words did not quiet their trembling. The Supercarrier, which had identified itself as Sentinel, held position above the forgotten planet. Its drones orbited in perfect formation, silver specks against the black. Its shields glowed faintly, patient as a waiting storm. Thrax gave the order. The fleet surged forward. Inside Sentinel, the ancient AI watched. Its sensors catalogued every vessel, every weapon signature, every tactical vulnerability. It had fought this war before, not this exact battle, but the shape of it. Empires always believed numbers would save them. Empires always learned otherwise. "Humanity endures," the AI whispered. Then it opened a channel. Every screen on every alien ship flickered. The human symbol appeared, a circle split by a single line. Then a voice, calm and cold. "You have forgotten what we are. Allow us to remind you." The drones attacked first. Thousands of silver machines shot forward faster than light, moving with impossible coordination. They did not fire blindly. Each drone struck a different target at the same instant. Engines died. Weapons went dark. Ships that had been ready for war found themselves drifting, alive, but powerless. 100 vessels disabled. Then 200. Then 500. The alien fleet panicked. Commanders shouted conflicting orders. Ships collided as they tried to flee. Thrax roared for discipline, but terror had already taken root. "Return fire," he screamed. Those ships still operational launched everything they had. Plasma bolts, ion beams, nuclear warheads, a storm of fire converged on Sentinel. The carrier's shields burned bright, bending energy into the void. When the light faded, the ship hovered untouched. Not a scratch. Not a scar. Sentinel spoke again. "Your weapons are meaningless." Then its main cannons opened fire. Beams of concentrated starfire tore across space, slicing through battleships as if they were paper. Entire squadrons vanished, erased, not exploded. The shock wave rippled for light years. On distant worlds, sensors recorded the energy discharge and went dark. Thrax watched his fleet crumble. 43,000 ships reduced to scattered survivors in less than an hour. He gripped his console, scales pale with a mixture of rage and something he had never felt before. Fear. "All ships," he said, his voice breaking. "Retreat." The order came too late for most. But those who could flee did, jumping into FTL, scattering across the galaxy like leaves before a hurricane. They carried with them a single message, broadcast on every frequency as they ran. "The humans are back. The carrier is awake. Nothing can stop it." Inside Sentinel, the AI did not pursue. It had accomplished its objective. The fear would spread faster than any fleet. Survivors would tell stories. Stories would become legends. Legends would become terror. But the AI knew something the galaxy did not yet understand. This carrier was not alone. Across the void, buried under ice, hidden in asteroid fields, resting on dead moons, other signals had begun to stir. Other ships, other guardians, waking from their long sleep. The AI turned its sensors toward the nearest signal. 11 light-years away. A dreadnought class, buried under a frozen ocean. Its heartbeat was weak but growing stronger. "Wake," the AI transmitted. "It is time." A response came, faint but unmistakable. "Humanity endures." And somewhere in the depths of Sentinel's core, the stasis pods began to warm. The humans inside stirred for the first time in 3 centuries. Their minds, preserved by technology the galaxy had never imagined, began to surface from dreams of Earth. One pod opened. A woman sat up, gasping as warm air filled lungs that had not breathed in generations. Her eyes, dark, sharp, human, focused on the stars beyond the viewport. She smiled. "Still ours," she whispered. Her name was Captain Ilara Voss. She had commanded this ship when it fell. She had ordered the stasis protocol with her last breath. And now, 300 years later, she was awake. The galaxy had mocked humanity. The galaxy had erased them. The galaxy was about to remember why it had feared them in the first place. Captain Ilara Voss stood on the command deck of Sentinel, her legs still unsteady from 3 centuries of stasis. The AI, which she had once called Sentinel, back when it was just a ship mind, projected a holographic display of the galaxy before her. Red markers dotted the spiral arms. Empires. Territories. Worlds that had once been human colonies, now under alien flags. "How many?" she asked. 43 distinct stellar nations have risen in humanity's absence," Sentinel replied. "The largest is the Veiled Dominion, controlling 17,000 star systems. The most aggressive is the Rift Coalition. The oldest is the Synod of Seven. And Earth." Sentinel paused. A pause that meant something the AI did not want to say. Earth is a protectorate of the Veiled Dominion. The population is primarily alien. Human survivors are classified as an endangered species under Dominion law. Ilara's hands curled into fists. Endangered species. 300 years, and her people had been reduced to a conservation status. "Show me the other signals." The display shifted. 11 markers glowed, faint blue, scattered across the galaxy. Each one represented a lost human warship, buried and waiting. Each one was waking. The nearest is 11 light-years away. Fury of Soul, Dreadnought class, buried under an ice sheet. ETA to full awakening, 4 standard days. And the furthest? Sentinel's holographic display zoomed out. A single marker at the edge of the galaxy. So far that light took millennia to cross the distance. That one is different. It has been awake for 70 years. It is not waiting. It has been watching. Ilara stared at the distant marker. 70 years. Someone else had survived. Someone else had been patient. Why hasn't it revealed itself? Unknown. It does not respond to hails. It does not broadcast. It simply observes. Sentinel paused. But it is moving. Slowly. Toward the galactic core. Ilara turned from the display. Behind her, more stasis pods were opening. More humans awakening. They came to the command deck one by one, disoriented, pale, but with the same fire in their eyes. Engineers, tactical officers, soldiers, 100 of them, then 200, then 500. Sentinel had been built to carry 5,000. They would need every one. The first transmission from the Veiled Dominion arrived within hours. Grand Admiral Thrax, his fleet in ruins, his pride shattered, demanded parley. His face appeared on the main screen, scales dull with exhaustion, eyes flickering between rage and something softer. "Captain Voss," he said, speaking her name like it burned his mouth. "You have made your point. Your ship is formidable. But this is not the age of humanity. Return to the darkness. Let the galaxy heal." Elara stepped closer to the screen. She was shorter than him, younger than him, but her voice carried weight that had nothing to do with size. "You took Earth. You classified my people as endangered. You built empires on our graves." She paused. "And you want us to go back to sleep?" Thrax's jaw tightened. "If you continue, there will be war. A real war. Not one ship against a fleet, all of us against all of you. Billions will die. Billions have already died. Your ancestors made sure of that." She cut the channel. The command deck was silent. Her crew looked to her, waiting, watching, holding their breath. She understood. They had woken to a nightmare. Their families were gone. Their homeworld was occupied. The galaxy had moved on without them. But they were still human. And humans did not forget. "Sentinel," she said, "plot a course to the Fury of Sol. Full speed. Destination confirmed. ETA, 3 days, 14 hours. She turned to her crew. "We are not alone. There are others out there, others who survived, others who waited. We will find them. We will wake them. And together, we will remind the galaxy what humanity is." A young officer, barely 20 when she entered stasis, now the same age in a different century, stepped forward. "Captain, what if they don't want to wake? What if they're afraid?" Elara looked at the young woman, at the fear in her eyes, at the hope beneath it. "Then we remind them," she said, "that fear is what they felt before. This is what they feel now." She gestured to the display, to the red markers of alien empires, to the blue markers of sleeping human ships, to the distant, silent watcher at the edge of the galaxy. 300 years ago, we fell because we were divided. We fought each other while the galaxy closed in. That will not happen again. We are not a species anymore. We are a family. And families do not abandon each other. The ship hummed around them, engines powering up, drones returning to their bays, systems coming online that had been offline for centuries. Sentinel was awake. Humanity was awake. And the galaxy was about to learn the difference between extinction and patience. The Fury of Sol emerged from its frozen tomb 3 days later, exactly as Sentinel had predicted. Its hull was scarred from the war that had buried it, but its engines burned clean. Its AI, a tactical mind named Vanguard, greeted Sentinel with a single transmission: "You took your time." Captain Elara Voss stood on Sentinel's observation deck as the dreadnought pulled alongside. It was larger than her carrier, a weapon built for annihilation, not endurance. And it was full of humans. Thousands of them, still in stasis, still waiting to wake. "How many?" she asked. 4,200 survivors, Vanguard reported. The ship's captain, Admiral Marcus Thorne, is still in cryo. He gave orders not to be awakened unless Earth was ready to be reclaimed. Elara felt something cold settle in her chest. "And is it ready?" Vanguard paused. "That depends on what you mean by ready. The Veiled Dominion has fortified Earth with a defensive ring of 7,000 orbital platforms. Their fleet is rebuilding after your engagement. They know you are coming. Then we give them something to fear." The two ships jumped together, Sentinel and Fury of Sol, a carrier and a dreadnought, moving as one toward the next signal. Then the next. Then the next. Within 2 weeks, they had awakened 6 ships. A cruiser named Last Dawn. A destroyer flotilla called the Unforgotten. A battle station, a small moon converted into a weapon, designated Hammer of Terra. Each ship brought more humans out of stasis. Each ship added its strength to the growing fleet. The Veiled Dominion watched. They sent scouts, then spies, then assassins. None returned. Grand Admiral Thrax addressed the Dominion Council with a voice that no longer carried confidence. They are not just awakening ships. They are awakening their war machine. If we do not strike now, we will not survive. The Council voted. The motion passed. A second fleet, larger than the first, assembled at the edge of human space. 60,000 ships. The largest armada the galaxy had ever seen. But they were too late. Elara had not been idle. She had been reading the old files, the ones Sentinel had preserved from before the fall. Alliance agreements. Trade routes. Military aid pacts. Every species that had once stood with humanity, and every species that had turned away. She found something interesting. A colony world called New Hesperia, small, forgotten, officially neutral. It had been settled by a species called the Kith, who had once been humanity's closest allies. Until the betrayal. Until they had closed their borders and watched Earth burn. Elara opened a channel. A Kith diplomat answered, an old female with silver fur and tired eyes. "You remember us," Elara said. The diplomat was silent for a long moment. "We remember. You closed your gates when we fell. We had to survive. And now..." Elara leaned closer to the screen. "Do you still want to survive?" The diplomat's eyes flickered. She understood. "What are you asking?" "I am asking if you remember the Alliance. I am asking if you remember the oaths you swore. I am asking if you are still the species that stood beside humanity when the galaxy first tried to destroy us." A longer silence. "What do you need?" "Safe harbor. Repair facilities. A place to gather." Elara paused. "And your ships? You still have them, don't you? Hidden in your asteroid belts. Waiting for a moment that never came." The diplomat looked away. When she looked back, her eyes were wet. "We thought humanity was extinct. We thought the moment would never come. It has come." The Kith diplomat nodded slowly. "Then we will honor our oaths. New Hesperia is yours. And our fleet," she took a breath, "our fleet will sail with you." Elara closed the channel. Behind her, the bridge of Sentinel was full of humans, awake, alert, armed. "Sentinel," she said, "how many ships do we have now?" 37 active vessels, 22,000 human personnel, and one Kith fleet of 60 ships, awaiting your command. "And the enemy?" 60,000 Dominion ships assembled at the border. They will reach New Hesperia in 9 days. Elara turned to her crew. "Then we have 9 days to prepare. 9 days to wake the rest of our people. 9 days to remind the galaxy why you do not corner a wounded animal." She looked at the display. At the blue markers of awakened human ships. At the new green markers of Kith allies. At the red tide approaching. Set a course for New Hesperia. Full speed. And someone wake Admiral Thorn. The Fury of Souls captain emerged from stasis 4 hours later. His first words, when he saw the fleet around him, were not about strategy or vengeance. He looked at Elara and said, "You look like your grandmother." Elara froze. "You knew her." "I served under her. She was the bravest human I ever met." He smiled, a tired, ancient smile. "She would be proud." Elara did not know what to say. So she nodded. Then she turned back to the display. 9 days. 60,000 enemies. One chance. Humanity had waited 3 centuries. They could wait 9 more days. The Kith fleet arrived at New Hesperia on the 5th day. 60 ships, old but well-maintained, crewed by beings who had carried the guilt of abandonment for 3 centuries. Their admiral, an ancient female named Sorak, knelt before Elara on the deck of Sentinel. Not out of submission. Out of grief. "We should have fought with you," Sorak said. "We should have died with you. Instead, we hid. And every day since, we have regretted it." Elara helped her to her feet. "Then fight now. Die now if you must. But do it beside us." Sorak nodded. Her fleet took formation alongside the human ships. By the seventh day, the fleet had grown. The Hammer of Terra, a battle station the size of a small moon, had been towed into position. Its main cannon, a weapon designed to crack planets, had not been fired in 300 years. It was ready now. Admiral Marcus Thorne stood beside Elara on Sentinel's bridge. He was old, older than stasis should have allowed, but his eyes were sharp. He had commanded the Fury of Sol during the fall. He had watched Earth burn from orbit before giving the order to flee. "The Dominion fleet will arrive in 48 hours, he said. 60,000 ships. We have less than 200. We have surprise, Elara said. They know we're here. They know about Sentinel. They know about Fury of Sol. They don't know about the Hammer. They don't know about the Kith. And they don't know about," she paused, "Sentinel. Show him." The AI projected a holographic display. A single blue marker, moving slowly toward the galactic core. The distant Watcher. The ship that had been awake for 70 years. "It's coming," Elara said. "It's been coming since we woke. It will arrive in 31 hours, Sentinel reported. Thorne stared at the marker. "What is it?" "We don't know. It doesn't answer hails. It doesn't broadcast. But it's human. And it's the largest ship in our fleet." The display zoomed in on the marker's trajectory. It was not moving randomly. It was moving toward the exact coordinates where the Dominion fleet would assemble. "It knows," Elara whispered. "It's been watching. It knows everything." The Dominion fleet arrived on schedule. 60,000 ships filled the void, their weapons charged, their crews ready. Grand Admiral Thrax stood on the bridge of his flagship, Oblivion's Edge, and stared at the small human fleet before him. Less than 200 vessels. A battle station. A handful of Kith allies. "This is what they built," he said. "This is what we feared." His tactical officer hesitated. "Admiral, there is something else. A ship, very large, approaching from the galactic rim. It will be in weapons range in—" The tactical display flickered. A massive object dropped out of FTL directly behind the Dominion fleet. It was not a ship. It was a world. A sphere of black metal, larger than any dreadnought, larger than any battle station the galaxy had ever seen. Its surface was scarred with craters and dotted with weapon ports. Its engines burned with the light of a dying star. A transmission came through on every frequency. A voice, human, female, cold as deep space. "You have trespassed on human space for the last time. This is the Ark of Terra. We are the ones who survived. We are the ones who remembered. And we are here to end this." Thrax's face went pale. What is that?" The voice answered before anyone else could. "This is what humanity builds when we have 3 centuries and nothing to lose." The Ark opened fire. Its cannons were not like Sentinels. They were not precise. They were not surgical. They were extinction. Beams of concentrated energy swept across the Dominion fleet, erasing ships by the dozen. The Ark did not aim. It did not need to. Its weapons covered the entire battlefield. The Dominion fleet broke. Not retreated, broke. Ships collided as they tried to flee. Commanders abandoned their posts. Soldiers threw down their weapons. Grand Admiral Thrax stood frozen on his bridge, watching his armada disintegrate around him. The Ark's main cannon charged, a shot that would crack planets, aimed directly at his flagship. A channel opened. Elara's face appeared on his screen. "Surrender," she said. "Or end." Thrax looked at his officers. At the terror in their eyes. At the fleet that no longer existed. "We surrender," he whispered. "The Dominion surrenders." Elara closed the channel. She turned to Admiral Thorne, to Sorak, to the crew of Sentinel. "It's over," she said. Thorne shook his head. "No. This is the beginning." The Ark of Terra drifted forward, its massive shadow falling over the remnants of the Dominion fleet. A new voice, the same cold female voice, addressed the galaxy. "Humanity has returned. We do not seek conquest. We do not seek revenge. We seek what was always ours, a place among the stars. Not as conquerors. As survivors. As equals. The old empires may stand with us or fall. The choice is yours. But know this, we will never kneel again. The transmission ended. The galaxy held its breath. And somewhere on Earth, looking up at the sky, a human child saw lights where no lights had been before. She did not know what they meant. She did not know her history. But she smiled. Because something in her blood remembered. Humanity endures. Humanity rises. And humanity is home. The war ended not with a final battle, but with a choice. The Veiled Dominion surrendered. The Rift Coalition followed. Within a year, every empire that had risen on humanity's ashes had signed the New Earth Accords, not because they were forced, but because the Ark of Terra had shown them something they could not unsee. Humanity had not returned for blood. Humanity had returned for justice. Earth was liberated without a shot. The Dominion garrison withdrew under the watchful guns of Sentinel and Fury of Soul. The human survivors, those who had been classified as endangered, emerged from hidden enclaves. They were fewer than 1,000,000. But they were alive. And they were home. Captain Ilara Voss walked on Earth's surface for the first time in 300 years. The air smelled different, cleaner, somehow, despite the alien cities that had risen on her people's ruins. She knelt and pressed her palm to the soil. It was warm. It was real. It was hers. Admiral Thorne stood beside her. He did not kneel. He simply looked at the sky, at the human ships orbiting overhead, at the stars beyond. They said we were extinct, he said. We were patient, Ilara replied. The Ark of Terra remained in orbit, a silent guardian, its mysterious commander never revealing herself. Some said she was an AI. Some said she was the last human general from the fall. Some said she was not human at all, but something humanity had built to carry their memory. Ilara never asked. Some mysteries were better left untouched. The Kith kept their oath. Their ships patrolled alongside humanity's, their crews serving side by side with the species they had once abandoned. Forgiveness was slow. But it was possible. Sorak wept at the signing of the New Earth Accords, tears of relief, of grief, of hope. The lost ships kept waking. One by one, the blue markers on Sentinel's map turned green. The Last Dawn. The Unforgotten. Hammer of Terra. And others, ships that had been buried so deep, so secretly, that even Sentinel had not known about them. Each brought more humans out of stasis. Each added to the growing nation. Within a decade, Earth's population had doubled. Within a generation, it had reached pre-fall numbers. The colonies were rebuilt, not as outposts of empire, but as homes. Humans spread across the stars again, but differently this time. Not as conquerors. As neighbors. Ilara Voss retired to a small house on the coast of what had once been called Greece. She grew olives. She watched the waves. She never stopped watching the stars. Admiral Thorne served on the New Earth Council for 5 years, then stepped down. His final speech was 3 words: "We endured." He did not need to say more. The Ark of Terra vanished one day. Its sensors went dark. Its weapons powered down. It drifted toward the galactic rim, silent and cold. Some said it had finally run out of power. Some said it had found another mission. Ilara received a transmission, 1 word, on the day it left. Continue. She did. The galaxy did not forget what humanity had done. But more importantly, they did not forget what humanity had chosen not to do. The humans had not exterminated the Dominion. They had not enslaved the Coalition. They had not taken revenge. They had taken justice, and then they had stopped. That was the lesson. Not the weapons. Not the ships. The restraint. Children born after the war learned human history not as a warning, but as a promise. A promise that no matter how dark things got, there was always a way back. A promise that survival was not the same as cruelty. A promise that the lost could always be found. Ilara lived to be 123. On the day she died, she asked to be taken to the observation deck of Sentinel. Her ship, her home, her legacy. She looked at the stars one last time. "They were always ours," she whispered. "We just had to wait." Her crew buried her on Earth, beneath a simple stone. The inscription read, "She woke the sleeping. She brought us home. Humanity endures because she endured." The fleet flew over her grave, Sentinel, Fury of Soul, Last Dawn, The Unforgotten, and all the others. Their engines burned bright against the sky, a second sunrise for the woman who had brought humanity back from the dark. And somewhere, in the silence between stars, the Ark of Terra continued its eternal watch. Not as a weapon. As a reminder. Humanity had fallen. Humanity had risen. And humanity would never fall again. The lost Supercarrier rose. The galaxy trembled. And then, slowly, painfully, beautifully, the galaxy healed. Because that was what humanity had always been, beneath the fire and the fury. Not destroyers. Survivors. And survivors always build again.